Have you ever wondered what truly lies behind the curtains of spiritual manipulation, fame, and hidden darkness in religious and celebrity worlds? In today's eye-opening video, we'll uncover shocking realities that many are afraid to talk about. You'll hear stories of spiritual possession, sacrifices, demonic hierarchy, and corruption within both entertainment and religious institutions. This is not fiction. These are real experiences, raw, disturbing, and transformative. You're not here by accident. You're watching this because your spirit is seeking truth. You feel it. Something isn't right with the world you've been told is safe. Today we rip the veil and expose what's really happening behind closed doors, both in cemeteries and on stages. You will learn not just about the darkness, but how to reclaim your life from it. This video isn't just information, it's a spiritual awakening. And if you stick with us until the end, you'll understand how the same power that pulled people into destruction can be reversed by faith, purpose, and divine guidance. When someone mentions evil, most people imagine horror movies or folklore, not something they would ever personally encounter. But what if I told you that real spiritual darkness walks among us, in our cities, in our neighborhoods, even in the places we consider sacred? The most chilling truth is that the people who smile on television or preach from pulpits may sometimes hide the darkest secrets. Evil doesn't always come dressed in red with horns. Sometimes it wears a suit. Sometimes it holds a microphone. And it often hides behind the illusion of light. This isn't about paranoia. This is about exposure. The truth must be brought into the light, even if it's painful. Because if we don't recognize the enemy, we will never be free from its grip. There was once a young boy who grew up in a home filled with faith. His parents were evangelicals, prayer warriors, and devoted servants of God. But life has a way of targeting innocence. That child was violated, abused, broken at the age of 8. That moment cracked the door to darkness. And when pain enters a soul without healing, spirits of revenge, anger, and despair begin to whisper. A spiritual vacuum is created, and dark forces waste no time moving in. The boy, lost and angry, was introduced to rituals, cemeteries, and spiritual leaders who promised power in exchange for obedience. He wasn't seeking evil. He was seeking control. He wanted to stop hurting. He wanted to feel powerful. But the cost was high, and the currency was his soul. That boy became a man. That man became feared. In the underworld of black magic, he wasn't just another follower. He was a high-ranking practitioner. He walked through cemeteries barefoot, consumed human flesh, and performed unspeakable rituals. He was no longer himself. He was a vessel for the demonic. His eyes no longer reflected light, but something far older and far more sinister. But it didn't start with evil. It started with trauma. And that's how the enemy works. It looks for broken people. Because brokenness, unattended, becomes a portal. And if you don't heal your wounds, demons will use them. When people say they feel lost, they often mean emotionally. But in the spiritual world, being lost means something different. It means you're not just disconnected, you're claimed, possessed, controlled. What begins with emotional numbness turns into obsession, addiction, rage. The demonic realm doesn't need your permission, it needs your participation. One compromise at a time, one unconfessed pain, one moment of bitterness, and slowly, you become something you no longer recognize. That's what happened to this man. His life was no longer his. His thoughts were not his own. And yet, on the outside, he functioned. That's what makes it terrifying. Evil can look functional. It can smile. It can preach. It can even inspire. There's a reason this story is important. Because many watching this right now are dancing on the edge of spiritual compromise. Maybe you've been hurt. Maybe you've felt invisible. Maybe you've even dabbled in things you knew weren't right. You thought it was harmless. Curiosity. A phase. But spirits are not bound by your intentions. What you call innocent, they call invitation. Whether it's horoscopes, tarot, manifesting rituals, or playing with ancestral worship, every one of those roads ends in bondage. And if you're not careful, you might look back one day and realize you're no longer yourself. That's why this message matters. Because someone watching needs to wake up now. What happens in the physical is always a reflection of what's happening in the spiritual. Depression, addiction, isolation, These aren't just emotional struggles. They are signs of spiritual war. We've normalized pain. We've normalized self-harm, suicidal ideation, secret addictions. But behind each of these is a deeper battle. Spirits of death don't announce themselves. They whisper, they hide, they suggest. They enter when the door is cracked by trauma, by bitterness, by unforgiveness. And while the world says therapy, meds, coping, the spirit says liberation. This is not just about healing your mind. It's about reclaiming your soul. And it starts with one decision. Will you seek truth or keep living a lie? You might be thinking this is extreme, that it doesn't apply to you. But here's the truth. The spiritual world does not care what you believe. It operates on laws, not opinions. And if you break those laws, knowingly or unknowingly, you give access to powers that don't play fair. That's why spiritual awareness isn't optional. It's essential, because when you know how the enemy moves, you no longer walk blind. You recognize patterns, you break cycles, and most importantly, you take back authority. This is your moment. If anything in your spirit feels stirred, don't ignore it. Stay with me. The deeper we go, the more freedom you'll find. What many don't realize is that there are ranks and hierarchies in the realm of darkness. Just like armies have generals, captains, and foot soldiers, so does the demonic kingdom. When someone performs rituals, they aren't just playing with symbols. They are making spiritual contracts. Every sacrifice, every word spoken, opens doors to higher-level spirits. Some of these spirits don't just influence a person. They dominate cities, institutions, families. They're called principalities. They specialize in division, corruption, lust, violence. And once they have a legal right, they do not leave without war. You don't cast them out with willpower. You cast them out with authority. And that only comes when you surrender to something greater than yourself. In the world of fame and success, people are often willing to do anything for the spotlight. They drink what they're told, say what they're told, do what they're told. But behind the glamour lies a secret. Many have made pacts, some knowingly, some out of desperation. Blood contracts, spiritual trades, dark initiations disguised as rituals for success. It's not just superstition, it's real. You've heard the rumors of celebrities dying mysteriously, children of stars vanishing, careers exploding overnight. That's not coincidence. That's spiritual manipulation. And the cost of that success? Often, it's your soul. Or worse, the soul of someone you love. Is fame worth that? Ask yourself that now, before it's too late. Let's talk about the church, because not even sacred places are immune from corruption. There are preachers who perform signs and wonders, but are fueled by unclean spirits. There are leaders who started with God but turned to manipulation when the spotlight grew. They wear robes of righteousness but speak to demons behind closed doors. Some use witchcraft to reveal things to their congregation, to appear powerful, to control. They anoint with oils, but also with fear. But here's the truth. God is not mocked, and those who use his name for gain will answer for it. We must discern between charisma and character, between stage presence and spiritual presence. Discernment isn't about suspicion, it's about survival. The spiritual world doesn't wait for you to be ready. If you're unaware, you're vulnerable. If you're unarmed, you're already defeated. That's why you must test every voice, every sign, every experience. Does it align with truth? Does it bear fruit? Does it lead to freedom or control? Real spiritual authority doesn't manipulate, it liberates. It doesn't shame, it restores. So ask yourself this: the voices speaking into your life, do they draw you closer to light or deeper into darkness masked as revelation? It's time to examine your influences, because eternity is not a theory, it's your destiny. Some of the most dangerous deceptions are wrapped in beautiful packaging. You might hear phrases like positive energy, manifesting abundance, ancestral guidance. They sound harmless until you realize they are rooted in the same ancient systems of sorcery used in demonic worship. Satan doesn't need to scare you. He just needs to confuse you. He will offer half-truths, light mixed with shadow. He doesn't mind you being spiritual, as long as you're not aligned with the truth. That's how people stay bound. They feel spiritual but remain enslaved. But today you don't have to stay confused. Truth is available. Light is here. You just need to say yes. You may feel something stirring inside you. A war between curiosity and conviction. Don't silence it. That's not fear. That's your spirit waking up. That's your Creator calling you home. You were not made for bondage. You were not made to wander in spiritual confusion. You were made to walk in freedom, purpose, clarity. But that freedom isn't given, it's taken back. It starts with repentance, with choosing truth over comfort, with saying no more to what's been feeding your darkness. You might feel resistance even now. That's normal. Darkness fights hardest before it loses. But you are stronger than you think. You are chosen. You are called. If you've come this far, it's not by accident. There's a reason you didn't scroll away. There's a reason this message gripped your heart. It's because the chains that have been on your family, on your mind, your emotions, are about to break. But this isn't a moment for passive listening. This is a moment for action. Right now, choose to reject every lie you've believed. Renounce every false source of power. Declare with your mouth that you belong to light, not shadow. That you choose freedom over fear. Say it out loud. Because there is power in your voice. Power in confession. Power in surrender. Now you've heard the truth. You've seen the unseen. And now you can't unsee it. You know what's been hidden behind rituals, fame, manipulation, and false religion. But this isn't just a story to reflect on. It's a line in the sand. A moment of decision. You don't need to live under spiritual bondage. You don't need to carry curses from generations before you. You don't have to be a prisoner of your trauma. There is freedom available. There is restoration waiting. But it only begins when you choose to turn to the one who breaks every chain, Jesus Christ. If you felt the weight of darkness in your life, you don't need another self-help book. You don't need more rituals or energy cleanses. You need truth. You need power that doesn't come from spells or crystals, but from the Spirit of God. And that power is available to you right now. All you have to do is speak, "Jesus, I surrender, set me free." That's not a religious chant. That's a spiritual declaration. Hell hears it. Heaven responds to it. Everything changes when you open your heart and stop pretending that you're okay. It's time to stop fighting alone. Jesus is ready to fight for you. I want you to do something bold right now. If you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel, not just to follow content, but to follow Jesus. Every video we release is a step deeper into freedom, truth, and spiritual awakening. Share this video with someone who is struggling, someone who's lost, someone who thinks there's no way out. This might be the exact message they need. Comment below and let me know where you're watching from and how this message spoke to you. Let's create a space where truth and restoration aren't just preached, but lived. The enemy counts on your silence. He counts on your shame. He wants you to stay isolated and numb. But you're not alone anymore. You're part of something greater now, a movement of people who are saying, enough. Enough lies. Enough bondage. Enough pretending. If you're serious about your freedom, take one more step. Turn off the noise, find a quiet place and pray. Pray like your life depends on it. Because it does. God hears every word. And He's been waiting for this moment. If you need guidance, if you're ready to walk this out, check the links in the description. There are resources that will help you grow, pray, and understand what it truly means to walk in spiritual authority. But don't wait. Don't let this just be another video you watched and forgot. Let this be the beginning of your transformation. The darkness loses when you walk into the light, and light has come to you today. To every soul who stayed until the end, I want you to know this. I care about you. Not because you clicked on this video, but because I know what it feels like to be searching for something real. I see you, and I want you to know, you are not invisible. You are not beyond saving. You are not too far gone. Jesus didn't come for the perfect. He came for the broken, and He's reaching out to you now. Don't push Him away. Let Him in. Until next time, I'll be here, speaking truth, praying for you, standing with you in this battle. We're in this together. And together, we will see chains break, families restored, minds renewed, and hearts reborn. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, follow Jesus, and walk in freedom. I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong, stay awake, stay free.